Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel and to another video. I hope as usual that you're having an awesome day and it's doing freaking amazing. So today guys, we're actually going to make a very serious video because here in Sweden there's a new motion regarding reptiles, mammals, exotic pets, fish, and yeah, you know, the hobby keeping of animals is, to be honest, under heavy attack right now. And if this motion gets pushed through, that would be the death of reptile keeping here in Sweden for private people, for hobbyists. So we're going to talk about what this means and the new suggestions and the new laws, what you want to call it, or rules. So we're going to talk about that. And while doing so, we're going to do some maintenance and just check up on the animals and yeah, trying to have a good time anyway, even though this makes me, to be honest, pissed off and real fucking angry. So anyway guys, let's roll the intro. So let's talk about the first ridiculous rule that I think is ridiculous, and I think many people agree with me. And that is, you are not allowed to feed live insects anymore to your animals. Like this guy, for example. And that is because apparently there's a new study. I haven't read this study, I don't know if it even exists. And that is that insects apparently can feel some type of distress. And yeah, and that is not good, of course. You should always treat all animals with respect. But many lizards and, let's say, insect eating snakes, they won't go for dead prey. They won't, they react to movement, and some animals just won't eat off of tongues. And that is a God honest truth. And I hope many of you knows that what I'm talking about. And yeah, as my brother said, by the way guys, you have to check out my brother's video, because he made a video yesterday about this, and I'm gonna put a card for his video right here now. So please go and check that out guys, because I know it's 40 minutes long, but trust me, it's worth every second. You have to go and listen to him. But anyway guys, so yeah, of course, they're still living animals and you should always treat other animals with respect. But let's say cricket, they can live for maybe 12 weeks. Yeah, 12 weeks, that's very short. Like my brother pointed out, there's 52 weeks in a year. And let's compare that to this guy that can live up to 15, probably 20 years. And 12 weeks and 20 years, or maybe 15, 20 years, is a huge difference. I'm not saying that the cricket's life ain't worth anything, but yeah, this guy is, in my eyes, worth more. And if he wouldn't eat dead insects, what should I do then? Should I let him starve? No, I won't do that. Get off my hand, buddy. He's humping, as you guys know. But yeah, speaking of that, we're going to feed him a little bit more here now. Hey, buddy. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that he wouldn't go for dead insects. He can eat dead prey, of course. He eats pinkies sometimes and all that, but I don't know, dead insects, I don't think he would go for it, to be honest. I haven't tried, but I don't think he would go for it. And yeah, I also need to add that they suggest that you should kill the insect first before you feed them to your animals. And then I wonder, okay, let's say a roach, for example. As some of you may know, a cockroach can live without its head for like 2 to 3 weeks. So how do you kill a roach the most humane way? I guess it's by, just squashing them. And then they will turn into like a cockroach soup almost. And I can assure you that many insect eating lizards or snakes won't go for that. I can almost promise that, guys. And let's say if you have dart frogs, for example, that you mostly feed, like fruit flies in captivity. First of all, how do you humanely euthanize fruit flies? And I am 100% sure that dart frogs will not go for things that doesn't move. So yeah, that means that if you have dart frogs, they're mostly going to starve to death if this motion gets pushed through. And yeah, so, and this goes completely against one of the points that they have brought up as well, which I totally agree with. This is one of the points that I agree with. That is, you need to keep your animals in a natural enclosure and let them have as natural life as possible, even though they are in captivity. And I totally agree with that. They should have a natural environment, even though they are in, you know, like an enclosure. I totally agree with that, because minimal keeping, I am not for that, to be honest. Like, let's say my Accumonter here, of course, this is not Australia, but he has a deep substrate. If he wants to dig, he can climb. And yeah, as you guys know, I'm not happy with this enclosure, but just bear with me now. He can climb, he has 2 basking spots, one with UVB and UVA in that light, because that is a HID light, and this is just a normal heat bulb. Now it's almost falling down here. But yeah, so you need to give your animals the chance to act natural. And I totally agree with that, because that's very logical. I agree with that. But if you are supposed to give them as natural life as possible in captivity, then one of the most natural things for this guy, that is to kill his food. Because this is a predator. And predator, they hunt their food. And now in Sweden, it's actually forbidden to feed live vertebrate animals, like, you know, chicken, rats, or mice. They need to be either freshly killed, or they need to be, you know, like frozen thawed. So, and I'm okay with that, because my snakes, they eat the food anyway, and it's actually not that hard to get your snake to eat dead rodents. But in some cases, it can be a problem to get, you know, babies to start eating dead. Like some of my baby ball pythons that I've been, you know, raising up. Some of them has been really hard to get on, you know, frozen thaw. But eventually they will get there. But if I would be allowed to, you know, feed live vertebrate animals to snakes, in some cases, then they would thrive even more. But here's a little gray zone, I would call it, because if I have a snake, like a snake that I have, produced, like my baby ball pythons, and let's say that one baby ball python just won't start eating dead on its own, you know, like frozen thawed or freshly killed. What do I do then? Well, then I would say it's totally okay to feed just once to get it on food a live prey. I would say that's okay, because if I let my animal that I have, you know, produced starve to death, then I'm putting that animal under unnecessary distress and all of that. So yeah, so there is I think it's a gray area there, to be honest. But yeah, I guess that was all I have to say about live feeders and all that. So we're going to get to the next point now. But before we get to the next point, I just want to show you this enclosure. And yeah, you may be wondering what's in here now. And you know what, guys, you have to wait for that video to be released, because I was going to make that video today, but to be honest, I thought this was more important. So you have to wait for that. But some of you may already know what lives in here. So we're not going to disclose this today. So you just have to wait for that, guys. So I'm just going to check my notes here. And the next point is the new rules for, you know, enclosure size or cage sizes. And yeah, what can I say other than they are freaking ridiculous. Let's say, for example, now that you have a leopard gecko or any type of lizard that gets up to 1 feet. That is 30 centimeters. Okay, the rules now, or the laws, or what do you want to call it, The minimum size now today to keep a lizard that gets up to 1 feet, the minimum size today is 3.8 square feet. Which, of course, yeah, I think that's maybe a little bit small. It can, of course, be a little bit bigger, but this is the minimum requirements. Not the maximum, the minimum requirements. And the new rules that I want to apply to this. And that is for lizards that are between half a feet and up to a feet. So the same size. The new cage requirements is 1.5 square meters, which are 16 square feet. Let me repeat that. So they want to go from 3.8 square feet to 16 square feet. You guys see how ridiculous that is? That is, I don't even what in percent that is in, like, you know, what the increase is in percentage. If I can figure it out, I will write it right here, if I can figure it out. But as you guys probably understand, from 3.8 square feet up to 16 square feet, that is a huge difference. So yeah, but let's say that you have an Ackermander, as I have. Let's see here. The cage requirements today is 12.9 square feet, which, yeah, I think that is reasonable. Yeah, and that is if the lizard is between 51 to 75 centimeters, which is 51 centimeters is like, as I said, he is 1 feet 8 inches up to 2 feet and yeah, 2.5 feet. So from 3 feet 8 inches up to 2.5 feet. Then the cage requirement today is 12.9 square feet, which is 1.8 square meters. And the new cage requirement, which, to be honest, is, yeah, they are not unreasonable, but they are, yeah, I'm a little bit conflicted here, to be honest, because the cage requirement is from 30 centimeters, so from 1 feet up to 2.5 feet. So yeah, now you see how ridiculous it gets. So if the lizard is over 1 feet up to 2.5 feet, they need, according to the new rules, they need 26 square feet. Yeah, you heard that right. But of course, if the lizard is 2.5 feet, yeah, that is not unreasonable. I think it's pretty, yeah. But 30 centimeter lizard does not need 26 square feet. That is ridiculous. But yeah, up to 2.5 feet, of course, I think 26 square feet, that is not unreasonable, to be honest. But this should be from 2.5 feet up to maybe 4 feet. That would be, in my opinion, more logical. That is my opinion. You don't have to agree with me, but that is what I think. And I am keeping, you know, I am keeping a very active species of lizard. And yeah, this cage, he lives in here, but he's not in here all day. He gets to free roam my entire apartment every day. And if you do that, if you let your animals out, of course, they need something big, reasonable big to live in. But if you let them out and let them free roam, then they have. I don't think I even need to go into this. I think you guys know what I mean. But yeah, that is the new cage rules or enclosure rules, and this doesn't only apply to reptiles and this hobby. This actually affects those that keeps, let's say, rabbit or chickens. My brother brought this up as well, but this is actually insane because Today, if you are a private, I don't know, I don't actually remember the size requirements today to have keep chickens, because I don't keep chickens, as you guys know. But today it's totally legal for, you know, the egg industry or chicken industry to keep chickens in 0.6 square meters. I'm going to put the square feet right here, because and they don't have to change the rules. They are totally off the hook. This only applies to private people. I don't think that I mentioned that, because this legislation is called L80, which is the law of keeping animals. So we have cage requirements today, as you probably understand by now, but the ones that keep animals for, you know, industrial use, like the meat industry or stuff like that, they don't need to follow the same rules, which is insane. So they don't care about how those animals are treated, to be honest, but they only care about how animals that we keep as hobbyists are feeling. And I can promise you guys 1000% that us that keep animals the way that I do, and I hope most of you do, our animals are living the best life possible. And how do you think that chickens that lives in the meat or egg industry are feeling? They are, first of all, they only produce eggs. They're treated like machines. And the ones that are produced for meat, they are growing way too fast. They get steroids, and I don't know what, they get super, what do you call it? They get power fed, which most reptile people knows it is not good to power feed your animals, because that causes a lot of stress to the bodies. But I guess they don't care about that, because they're going to kill the chickens anyway. And yeah, I know it's a bit gruesome now, but this is the God honest truth. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about that, but and yeah, if you keep rabbits, the new cage requirements for rabbits are also insane. So this doesn't only affect people like me that keeps reptiles. This affects those that keeps chickens, as I said, rabbits, fish. I think as well was included in this. I don't know if it's new rules. I haven't read the fish rules, to be honest, because they have to, even though they have come up with new rules, all the old rules are, some of the old rules are still in there, and I haven't read about fishes, to be honest. And the new cage requirements also applies to turtles. And well, I think they are even more ridiculous. I think my musk turtle, according to the new cage requirements, will need, I think it's the same, yeah, I think it is, what did I say? I think the new rules for turtles that size is actually 26 square feet as well. I'm not going to say that for sure, but if it is true, you know what, I'm gonna write the new cage requirements for turtles here as well. And they have also clumped turtles and tortoise into the same. So they're saying that turtle have the same cage requirements as a tortoise, which all of you knows is total bull, because tortoises move around to graze, you know, they are grazers normally. Turtles are normally, you know, like predators, because they hunt in the water. And yeah, of course they are omnivores, most of them, but they don't need, you know, the same area to roam, because they are not grazers, which is, yeah. So if I'm going to write, as I said, the new cage requirements for turtles as well, and tortoises. But yeah, I don't know if I have anything more to say about cage requirements, but as you guys understand, this is ridiculous. So we're going to move on to the next point now. By the way, my spider has molted finally. So that means it's growing and doing amazing. I have the molt on top of Steve's enclosure. But yeah, totally awesome. And I know I promised you guys to do some, I said that we're going to do some maintenance, so why not just mist in little Steve's enclosure. Here you go, buddy. And yeah, one other new rule is, and this is also one of the rules that is totally insane, and that is you're not allowed to force bathe your animals or your snakes or lizards anymore. And what they mean by that is you can't put your snake or lizard in a container which they can't get out of on their own. Okay, so let's say that you have a snake or lizard that is stuck in shed, and that can happen anyone, can happen to the best of us, or that you have an animal that needs to be hydrated. Let's say, for example, that you have puff adders, as my brother have, and he also pointed this out. He bathes them once in a while to make sure that they get hydrated, because they don't seek out water like many other animals do, which means that they can get dehydrated and actually get sick if they don't get water, because water, as all of you know, is the most important thing that all living creatures need. You can't survive without fluids, without being hydrated, and that is, yeah, everyone knows this. So this means that if you have an animal that needs to be, like hydrated, or are stuck in shed, or have snake mites, or are constipated, the new rules say that it's only a veterinarian that are allowed to do this. So that means that if my animal is stuck in shed, I have to call a veterinarian, make them waste their time on something this easy, and waste my money, because it will not be for free to do this. It will cost a lot of money just by they are receiving you. You pay money just for that. So that means that and you will also waste the time, your own time and the veterinarian's time, because they can have a lot more important procedures than receiving an animal that's just stuck in shed, or something this easy that all keepers can fix on their own. Of course, there's some people that are neurotic and call the veterinarian for, like nothing at all, to be honest. But most reptile keepers are doing a lot on their own, because you have to, because especially here in Sweden, there are very, very little exotic veterinarians that treats reptiles or other type of exotic pets. So yeah, and this is ridiculous. So you're not supposed to force bathe, as they so nicely call it, your animals anymore. The only one that are supposed to do this is the veterinarian. So yeah, that was another point. Now we're going to get to, I don't know if it's the last point. Yeah, it's actually the last point that I have written down. And while talking about that, I guess we're going to, we can look at how the room looks now. So here we have how the room looks like now, and I'm actually pretty pleased with it. It looks pretty amazing, to be honest. Empty enclosure. And yeah, here you have my Acumonter. And here you have the adult ball python female, the corn snakes, and I guess you guys can guess what's in here. I'm going to talk about this in the next video, I guess. And here you have the rack. And the other rack that I'm using for storage right now. And out in the hallway we have little April. So yeah, that's what it looks like now. But yeah, let's talk about the last point that I want to bring up while misting in. Yeah, by the way, Gunner is down here now. Here how it looks. I think it looks pretty awesome, to be honest. And there's the spider and the morning geckos. But yeah, the last point that I will talk about actually affects me very much because I am a breeder. I know I'm not breeding animals right now, but I used to breed ball pythons and crested geckos. But just because I have stopped breeding those types of animals, that doesn't mean that I want to stop breeding animals. Because I have for a long time now, because I have for a long time now wanted to get a female for my Acumonter, as probably many of you knows. And yeah, the new rule, it affects all people here in Sweden that breeds reptiles, and I actually think it applies to, I don't know actually what groups of animals, but I think it applies to like rabbits and yeah, I know ferrets as well. And that is, if you are producing more than 2 clutches per year, and yeah, this gets me real angry, to be honest. If you produce more than 2 clutches per year, you need to have some type of, education degree in animal care. This means that if I'm going to start to breed, like let's say I want to breed Acumonters, and I also want to start to breed the common grass snake, and maybe if I get some gecko or whatever, let's say that. So if I get more than 2 clutches, let's say I get 1 clutch from my Acumonters, 1 clutch from my grass snake, and 1 clutch from, let's say, some type of gecko. Not that I'm planning on getting geckos to breed, but that's 3 clutches. That means I can't, the third clutch I get, I need to either keep to myself, I need to, sell it illegally. And this point, I think it's actually the worst for the reptile hobby here in Sweden. And I think that it's this point, this new rule, that will kill this hobby in Sweden. And yeah, the cage requirements are ridiculous, that you're not allowed to feed with live insects anymore, and you're not allowed to force bathe your animals anymore. And that is rules that you can just say, whatever to, because people, as long as as long as you don't get reported, people aren't going to do house calls to you. But let's say for my brother or most people here in Sweden that keeps venomous, they have permits, so it is known that they keep animals. So let's say for my brother, he is in the risk zone of getting a house call. So yeah, but I don't keep any venomous animals, so I don't need to have a permit for now. But to be honest, I want to get venomous snakes. But if this motion gets pushed through, I'm not going to get any more animals, to be honest. That is the God honest truth. And yeah, so that was the last point actually that I want to bring up. And yeah, sorry if it didn't turn out to be as much maintenance as I thought it would be. But I thought it was more important to talk about this, guys. And you may be wondering, what does this means for the channel? Well, yeah, this is actually hard, guys. That means if this motion gets pushed through, Westbay Reptiles will die. The channel will be no more. And this, yeah. Sorry, I get emotional now. Because this channel has meant so much to me, to be honest. For my mental health and your support, guys. And me and my brother, we started doing this together after we lost our father. So this has been really important for both of us. And yeah, and both me and my brother, our dream is to do this, you know, doing YouTube, showing you guys our animals, you know, all of this. This is what we want to do for a living. And yeah, I know it can take several years. It can take 5, maybe 10 years. But I'm willing to put in all the hard work for this to be successful. So, but if this motion gets pushed through, yeah, sorry guys, but the channel will die. And probably, I'm pretty sure that my brother's channel will die as well. So I'm really sorry to say that, guys, but yeah, that is what will happen. And yeah, so I know I'm gonna start crying now, but this channel has really meant so much to me. Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than I will put the link to the motion, because there's a form you can fill in. If you live in Sweden and you're watching this and you have not filled in the form or the petition, because there's a petition as well, I will put both those links in the description, and I will also, as I said, put a card from my brother's video in my video here, so you can go and watch that, because he has also posted the links. And I know there's a lot of Swedish people that are fighting, and you know what, guys, we can hopefully do this together. And all of you guys that has signed the petition and that has filled in the form, I love you guys from the bottom of my heart, because we are all in this together. We have to fight together now, because if we don't fight, eventually they will take our animals. I think that is what will happen. And there's actually a worldwide attack on the reptile keepers. The reptile keeping community and the exotic pets community are under heavy attack all over the world, to be honest, from the States all the way here to Europe. And we need to fight. We need to stand up to these bastards, to be honest. And yeah, guys, so make sure, if you are in Sweden and you're watching this, or I don't know if the link works in other countries, I have no idea. But please do what you can, guys. Fill in the form, fill in the petition, spread the message, go on Facebook groups and just talk about this. We need to spread the message that we are under heavy attack, and this will affect all of us. This will kill the entire reptile community, hobby or industry in Sweden, and eventually probably all of Europe. And I heard this yesterday. I don't know if it's true, but I heard it from a very good source, and that is, in Spain you're not allowed to keep any exotic pets. And I don't want that to happen to our country, or to any country, to be honest. So yeah, guys, I know this wasn't a very fun video maybe, and probably a bit of a rant, but you know what, guys, I hope you stuck around for the end, and that and I hope that I could make the message clear. I don't know if it was good or not, but you know what, guys, I just had to say what I thought, and I hope you all listened. So you know what, guys, I will see you in the next video, because they haven't pushed through this motion yet, and I will keep you guys updated on what's happening. We had 9th of April, so they gave us 3 weeks. Yeah, very good. But the 9th of April is the last day we have to make our voices heard. And if this, by the way, if this goes through, it starts from 1st of January 2026. So it will start next year, but we have this year to fight, I guess. But anyway, guys, make sure, as I said, that you fill in the form and the petition. So I'm gonna leave with this. Take care, be kind to someone, try to show people respect, except for the people that try to shut us down. And if you're able to, follow your dreams, guys. So next time, goodbye, and I love all of you from the bottom of my heart.